Maplewood Shop is making hands-on learning cool again. This curriculum is scalable yet affordable with starter and mini programs. It's tailored for elementary, middle, and high schools. Not only is the curriculum rewarding, it helps to build life skills, problem solving, and camaraderie. This curriculum is not only engaging, but it helps promote increased attendance. Shared tools help keep school costs down. There are no power tools involved. It's a nationally recognized curriculum across 17 states. And as some of you probably already know, Lyon County, got this curriculum last year. They're running with it. And this program can also be used in high schools without CTE programs. And it's also a pathway to apprenticeship, college, workforce, and opens the door to all trades. And we also have the Career Connections curriculum here too. Reminder, that's our pre-apprenticeship program also. And Dudley here, Steve Dudley here, one of the council's other business agents down in Vegas.
Yeah.
Is also
I'm going to go a different direction. My name's Stephen Dudley with the Carpenters Union here, but we really need access to your young people.
Yes.
There's a lot of work coming up, and just in Southern Nevada alone, we imagine by this time next year we're going to be 900 workers short on the amount of projects coming up. We can't grow these workers on trees. We also understand we're 20 years behind the ball here on making construction a viable career option for young people. Fast food doesn't have to advertise. Neither does Walmart. You can go get a job today, but there's careers to be built here. Your young people can get a career right out of school and not have to leave the valley that they live in. That's what we're trying to instill here. So I cover the career connections for the whole state of Nevada, for several other states for the council. Jesse's my counterpart here up north. I really appreciate him reaching out. We're really excited about this Maplewood. I've been stressing down south about we really need to get into middle schools. We really need to get in and start reaching young men and women at a younger age so they can start thinking about these career paths instead of it being dropped on their lap when they're juniors and seniors and they don't really know where they should go. So we're really excited about this. I'm going to literally push to get this into Southern Nevada. I've already got some spots I'm ready to start moving it in. So again, thank you for coming out here and spending your morning with us. And Mike, that's all I got. Thanks
so much.
I appreciate it.
So thank you all, and those online as well. Thank you. Next, I'd like to introduce Jim Gianotti. He's the Executive Director of CTE for Lyon County. Does that sound fair?
Ed Services.
Ed Services.
Ed Services.
All right. And he's going to share his experience and their experience with Maplewood Shop.
All right.
Let's turn on these slides for you.
Okay. So thanks everybody for attending today. See a lot of familiar faces. And honestly, we found this program through the National Middle School Leaders Conference. I forget the acronym for that conference, but we had a few teachers and one of our PD and data manager attend that conference years ago and saw Maplewood Shop at a Box, came back, said, hey, you got to check this out. And so last year we started this program at Dayton Intermediate School. And from the picture, this is a picture of some of our students. Honestly, part of our frustration is, as education has evolved, we decided in our infinite wisdom to get rid of middle school career exploration for some reason, right? So now we're understanding the error of our ways, really, and bringing that back. So we started this at Dayton Intermediate School, and as you can tell from the picture, this is an old science lab. And so the beauty of this program is it could be done in any classroom. It could be done in a classroom with carpet, a classroom with shop tables or no shop tables, you name it. And it's flexible. So my teacher, Lindsay Etter, there at Dayton Intermediate School, got this rolling. She is actually an English teacher, but jumped in and was totally willing to implement this program. The kit makes it super easy. The curriculum that comes with it, super easy, self-explanatory. Teachers that teach any subject could jump in and teach this program, and that's one of the things that she raved about. That you don't have to have a ton of background experience just to get kids involved and create some hands-on activities and get them rolling with this. So this was kind of our start. And some of the beauty of it is that kids are engaged. And so kids that are reluctant to come to school, kids that are your quote unquote knuckleheads that you're worried about, jump in. And actually, some of those kids are the most engaged kids that you have because they're working with hands-on, they're doing something different. They often commented, man, I didn't realize I would learn so much math in this class. The high school construction trades teachers are frothing at the mouth because they have kids coming up that know how to use the tape measure. These kids learn how to use the tape measure. They do a ton of math. They experiment, they make mistakes, they use the hand tools. The beauty of the hand tools is you have to do some training with safety, but you're not dealing with power tools at this stage of the game, right? But what we're working on, we're rolling this out to 4 more schools this year at the middle school level, and we're having the high schools and middle schools partner so that we can have our high school students visit the middle school classroom, talk to the kids, help them out. We have the middle school kids go to the high school construction tech programs. They tour those programs. They get to see what they have to look forward to. They get excited about it. And some of the things that my teacher bragged about in particular were some of the choice projects that the kids got to do towards the end of the semester, where they came up with their own project or a passion project that they created and worked on. We had kids that honestly wanted to stay late in class because they weren't finished. They might have wanted to do some wood burning to put that finishing touch on a toolbox or whatever project that they were working on. And they begged to stay in the class. And I'll finish, I swear, I'll get it done, and then I'll go to my next class, which might have been English or something that, they weren't necessarily excited about, but they knew that they had to be well-behaved and on task in this class. And a couple of them started the class with kind of that understanding that if I screw up in here, I may not be able to stay or I might have some problems. So they were on their best behavior. And they're great kids, don't get me wrong, but let's see. They start off with some simple projects, the Jenga towers, puzzles. They do an incredible amount of math to figure some things out. And it's math that they know how to do. So it's practical application. And I think that's what we miss oftentimes and what the benefit of a hands-on program like Woodshop in a Box brings. Because kids get to see and understand why do I need to know this math? We always hear that. I was a middle school teacher. I actually taught Algebra 1 for years, and I would always get that question in algebra. Why do I need to know this? Well, son, let me tell you, if you want to become an electrician, Algebra 1's your friend. If you want to go into the construction trades, you're going to use algebra a lot more than you realize. And so these kids discovered that as they went through the program. And I can't say enough good about it as a result of this first year. So
That's great.
I don't know.
Let's see. Let's open it up to questions.
Okay.
Yeah. And for those online, feel free to unmute, or if there's any questions from the audience here.
Are we just free for all or?
Yeah.
Okay, so Jim, how did you fund this?
So
I know-
the first one we graded with Perkins and
Okay.
College and Career Readiness, which was an ARPA. And then the most recent ones for the 4 additional schools, we funded through CTE Competitive.
Right, because that's kind of where I was thinking, is to go after the competitive piece first. And then hedge the bet and try to squeeze it into either Perkins or allocation.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, and we did, for the actual kids, we did CTE competitive, and then we put into a Perkins Reserve competitive for like some additional supplies. So like the wood burning materials, stain for the woods, like
Right.
kind of things like that.
Then licensure, and then is this, and I know like middle school CTE to me is like the area where I need to grow a lot, right? But is this as an elective or is this, okay? So you knew where I was going. with
This
that.
is treated a little bit as an elective, but we ran it as a semester course, and so we tried to get as many kids as we could into the program for that exposure. Licensing was not really an issue because of that, because of the fact that we kind of treat it as an elective, right? So in middle school, you've got some wiggle room as long as they have a K-8 license, right? And so I will say though, Lindsay's learned an awful lot about CTE as we move through this process. And one of the benefits, she was on the team that rewrote the middle school standards or redrafted those middle school standards for CTE. And so she went in with the mindset of how can we rewrite these standards so that a program like Woodshop in a Box will fit great with these standards and mesh in. And so she was part of that team. I had a couple others from Lyon County, and there were folks throughout the state that helped with that. But she was instrumental in that piece. And so now we have some wiggle room with our middle school standards for CTE because it's that career exploration in building trades, right? So we have the ability to be flexible, but this has been phenomenal for those building trades standards.
Okay, so we don't have a construction related program of study yet in Douglas County.
Okay.
We're gonna work on that, but how hard would it be to, like, at the end of your semester, have the teacher link it to whatever programs of study you already have? Is there that flexibility in there? You know what I'm
Totally.
talking about, so,
We're gonna do that at Yerington and Smith. 'Cause
Right.
They don't have the building trades, but they both have ag welding mechanics.
yeah, and so it'd be like, hey, if you like doing this, these are the programs we offer at the highest school. You might consider X, Y, and Z.
Yeah, exactly. And this is one of the reasons why we have these kids at one point in the semester go up and tour the high school CTE programs. So they become familiar with what's down the road for me, right? I got excited about this. I now have some skills, right? So they now have skill of using a tape measure, a hand tools, manipulating materials that they may not have had. I mean, gone are the days where you and I held the flashlight for our dad when he was working on stuff and usually ended up with a flashlight or something. Yeah. But honestly, these kids get exposure. And so then they could carry these skills into whatever CTE program they choose moving forward, which is exciting.
I think we're on the same page there.
Yeah.
For sure.
Honestly, it's exposure. It's career exploration, it's exposure, it's hands-on, it's engaging. We're dealing with chronic absenteeism. This is one reason why kids want to come to school.
No doubt.
Right?
No doubt.
It's not the sit and get, it's the hands-on. And they love this hands-on and the practical application of the skills that they're learning in other classrooms. And they bring them into this program and showcase those skills.
Yeah, transferable.
Yeah.
And then we have some schools that are moving it to first period. The elective, because it's like the carrot that gets them in the door.
Gets them in the door. It's brilliant, honestly. It's
Right?
brilliant.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're here already. We'll stick around. Yeah,
It's funny.
come for the woodworking.
That's
stay
good
for-
planning though, right? I
Yeah,
mean,
stay for the
you guys
English.
looking
Yeah.
at-
Yeah. No offense to English teachers. I was an English major. So.
And you guys just have one in Dayton, you said?
Currently, or this last year, we've now expanded to all of our middle schools across the county.
Okay.
So we utilize the funds to expand this. We now have it in Smith, Yerington, Fernley, and Silver Springs as well.
How did you approach site admin on this?
I almost didn't have to approach site admin
Okay.
because they heard about it.
Right.
Because the principal at Dayton Intermediate School couldn't stop raving about it, right? And it doesn't hurt that the teacher who taught this, she's married to my PD and data manager, so he got to spread the word a little bit during trainings throughout the district. But honestly, middle school CTE has been a big push in Lyon. CTE in general is a huge push in Lyon. We're working with School Links now. So K through 12, we have kids exposed to career exploration. It's part of our innovative practice for acing accountability. We have 2 goals for our innovative practice. One is increasing work-based learning experiences by 10% every year. And 2 is increasing the number of students participating in those work-based learning experiences by 10% every year. So that's K through 12. So we record that. Kids have access to School Links. They're getting on there and doing career exploration and logging what it is they're learning. But now we're also implementing career trees from Mark Perna and his work, K through 12. So CTE and work-based learning is a huge push in Lyon because we understand that career and life readiness is where it's at, right? So middle school CTE across the board. Now we're going to have Maplewood Shop in all 5 of our middle schools. And yeah, one of the bullet points that just jumped out to me with this, parents want their children to have these skills. When we worked on our portrait of a learner as a district, parents kept saying, our kids need life skills. And this is a great example of life skills that every kid should have. I don't care whether you're male, female, every kid needs these skills. The problem solving, the critical thinking, the collaboration, the hands-on, the math skills obviously help, and we're all struggling with math skills, K-12 these days. I mean, the pandemic did a number on us. So getting kids back into school, getting their butts in the seats, getting their hands dirty, it's a great way to bring them in.
Let's see, any questions from online? Let's check the chat. This sounds like a good match for career foundations in skilled and technical. Is that the case? This is Candy Robles asking. Oh, Jim, you answered my question. Thanks. Excellent.
Awesome.
Go Candy. Okay.
Go Candy.
So wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so
Yeah,
much. And
you
I'll
bet.
share a couple more
Okay.
details about the program so everyone can kind of be on the same page. Let's see. So I was one of those knuckleheads growing up.
So was I.
We all were, right? That's why we're here. And what I said yesterday at the Washoe board meeting was that I was a kid who couldn't sit still.
Yeah.
And that didn't mean I was smart, didn't mean I was dumb, just meant I couldn't sit still. And that was not prized then, way back when, or now. And and with screens and screen addiction and AI and really, kids don't know the difference between reality and hallucination. All the more reason.
Yeah.
There's a great thinker in like youth woodworking. His name is Doug Stowe. He's out of Arkansas, and he makes the case that when you measure something and you build something with your hands, you know what truth feels like. You literally know what it feels like in a tactile way. And so then you build up this muscle of what truth is, and you can have a BS detector because even though I'm not touching something, that just doesn't feel right. And so to help keep this next generation grounded in reality is huge.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, I noticed in Lindsay's notes, she mentioned, kids of all stripes, where they might not hang out outside of this class. In this class, it broke down these barriers. And so, whether you're gifted and talented or whether you have an IEP, there's something about this program that normalizes because it focuses on competencies as opposed to how well you take a test. Right. And so that was really nice. And you know, a third thing we're trying to, you know, prove, it seems kind of logically true, but like you can combine all these different interventions in one, a math intervention, a social emotional intervention, a, you know, absenteeism intervention, a critical thinking, design thinking intervention, getting kids to feel better about themselves. And I hate to say it, but the kids that benefit, every kid, like you said, should do this, because, you know, whether you're going to become an engineer or a surgeon or a poet or a carpenter, these are all useful skills. And but for the kids that really need it and are honestly going to end up costing the district and the town and the county money in the long run, this might be the cheapest intervention and save money on budgets, you know? So it's kind of weird. So as I said, I was that kid, and luckily I made it through school and had, you know, was able to go on and have a career, but I always needed that tactile engagement. And so I turned to woodworking, bought a house and learned to fix stuff because we couldn't afford to hire people. And I enjoyed it, but I had that confidence. Growing up, I would get yelled at school, go home, fix bikes with my dad, and feel better about myself. And so once you have that confidence early, it carries through in a positive way, right? So fast forward to 2015, I have this nice corporate career, but not satisfied. A friend asked me to volunteer at a maker fair in our town in Maplewood, New Jersey. And I say, sure, love woodworking, love mentoring, why not?
Yeah.
And it was an epiphany. I realized this was my purpose in life, was to, and this is our mission, is to help all youth really develop life skills through woodworking. So I opened a storefront woodworking school, only used hand tools because it was safer and easier. And I learned from, you know, my own woodworking journey, that's the right place to start. You want to figure out what is the mechanism of action of a saw before you move to a chop saw. You know, you got to crawl, then you walk, then you run. And so now, you know, we have programs for crawling, like elementary school or middle school, the kind of walk, but starting from zero and assuming the teacher's starting from zero as well. Like 90% of the teachers we train have no background in woodworking, but we step them up. And I liked teaching, and I liked working with the kids, and I found I was good at giving kids confidence. Then in a few months, when I started Maple Wood Shop, I met a teacher from New York City, and she said, man, I wish I could do this in my classroom. So that's when I invented this portable workbench you saw in the video, in the slides, and realized that I could also give confidence to teachers that don't know woodworking. And so that's what I then focused on, was that our mission could have much bigger reach if we helped teachers and they were the front line. And then we could be in the background developing new lesson plans, rubrics, math, you know, lesson plans, all that kind of stuff, just to make it more effective for them. And that's what we did. We moved a little bit in the background, and you know, just to finish off the high level piece is, elementary school, middle school. And then a few years ago, we took the amazing Career Connections program developed by the Carpenters Union and converted to work with our hand tool setup. There's some extra tools than what you see here, framing square, speed square, bevel gauge, etc. But it's still all, it's like you're becoming a 19th century woodworker, you know, brace drill, egg beater drill. But still, what's nice about it and meaningful is that the teacher doesn't need a certification because it's an elective, even if it's a credit, like college credit bearing elective. B, the no power tools means it's been really safe. Now we figure we've reached about 20,000 kids around the country over the last 9 years, and it's the occasional Band-Aid.
Yeah.
And you know, and it's just, and the kids that you least expect you would want to put a saw in their hands are the ones who respond best.
Yeah.
If they're finally being trusted,
Yeah.
right, with something. So, you know, I know this is a lot of people, but you know, what we keep hearing is, you know, usually like absenteeism, math, as you mentioned, Jim, and then you know, maybe the just becoming humans, you know, because they're so damaged with those years of isolation and screen addiction, that how do we bring them back?
Yeah.
And so that's those are the high level. This little video shows you what it looks like in action. And this is similar, like there's some IEP kids in this video and there's some gifted and talented. You cannot tell the difference.
Right.
But the other thing is that these workbenches, you're always facing someone. So you have this little mini community. And this typically, they were using an old cafeteria for this. Typically, you have 4 students at one table and it creates its own micro community. And we even encourage the teachers to focus on making one student, he's usually as you said, the knucklehead, but wants positive attention, right? Just isn't used to getting it. Make them the table captain, table ambassador, and suddenly you kind of neutralized, a disruption, co-opt them. They're getting something extra and they're developing. And we got that from a 3rd grade teacher in Brooklyn. It's a really powerful, simple, powerful thing. So here's what it looks like. And the last thing I'll say is the guy in the green there, he's the gym teacher. There's a guy in a fleece, he's the math teacher, and neither had a background in woodworking. So, oops, I see what's going on. I have to go back here. This.
Used to be a staple in schools across the country. Well, it's making a comeback these days. CBS 2's John Elliott took a trip to PS 130 in Queens to check out the return of woodshop, and he talked with students and teachers, and here they are in their own words.
We need as humans opportunities to work with our hands together. And this engages students, all students, and especially the hard to reach students in ways that working on tablets or worksheets can never achieve.
I didn't think that in 6th grade I'd be able to be working with wood like this. So having this opportunity, I think is cool.
This is so important. It's so different from their normal schooling. The more you do it, the easier it gets.
It's like that. Nice angle.
They were very tentative and nervous at first. Now they're a little bit more outgoing. They're friendlier. They seem to want to help each other out more.
Never give up, because it's going to be hard. You're going to be working hard, but it's going to get easier the more you do it.
It looks like you've really got this nailed.
And one more big, This is something that the kids need.
But here, right now, we move it up higher.
It's tactile. It's engaging. It applies engineering, carpentry, mathematics, geometry.
It's fun because we can learn without looking at textbooks and stuff.
In math class, they're writing it all out. They're thinking about it, internalizing it. And over here, they're applying it. So it's great.
It also increases their executive functioning skills because now they're focusing more and they have to manage their time.
Victoria, why is this fun?
Because when you saw the wood, it feels so satisfying.
It's nice when kids can see things happen in real life. It comes alive for them. Kids can't wait until 11th grade to learn about the benefits of career and technical education. So we're pushed it down into 6th grade by making it safe, affordable, and easy to implement.
Maple Woodshop is an East Orange, New Jersey company. They've come up with these brilliant wood shops on wheels, and they have all of the gear that the students need to construct dozens of unique projects.
You have to come and see it. You have to feel the excitement in the room.
Wood shop is fun.
It's something that was missing in the school. And now that it's here, like the kids just love it.
At Russell Sage Junior High School in Forest Hills, Queens, this is John Elliott, CBS 2 News.
And school is fun, right?
Yeah.
It all works.
So that really sums it up. And I think at this point, everyone gets the why. Now you're kind of curious about, okay, so how does it actually work? Because these are school districts, we have to obligatory have,
Have some data.
bar charts, pie charts.
Share that real quick.
Yeah, absolutely. What matters,
You know where I've got to go with this.
right? And we'll give you the slides.
Yeah.
Don't worry, we'll give you the whole deck.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's been really powerful. This is the percent of programs where they've seen the results, and what's missing is that it's the kids who would probably be causing the most disruption as well, right? So we're eager to start measuring actually, like, what's the decrease in behavioral?
Yeah.
Can we prove control expose of improved attendance, standardized math scores, that kind of thing, especially with a semester duration.
Yeah.
It seems like there's enough time to make it show. And we can do another thing we do is a simple pre-post with the same students where we give them a quiz of things that they haven't learned yet and see how they do. and then do the same exact test at the end
Yeah.
and show the difference, and they can, realize it. So math, obviously, it's just great. Am I going the wrong way? And then the students themselves, this was actually like 160 elementary school students,
Great.
and so just, at that social emotional level, they really, it's empowering. And it's sad, frankly, because kids get so little exposure and they're
Right.
bubble wrapped and, and everyone means well, but boy, it's just to have something like this where it's a safe way to fail, safe way to learn. It's been great. So I'm really thrilled. I ran a new map last night, and we've launched over 250 programs around the country.
That's awesome.
And we make everything is union made in New Jersey. I invented this workbench, which is my little contribution to society, so that makes it easy to roll out. Those workbenches come right off the tables,
Yep.
and they go right into the tool chest. And when they're adjusted for like a 30-inch table, say, you don't even have to, you can just lift them off and put them in. So it's a real set it and forget it. And then more importantly, and I'm proud of this, is that empathy and that confidence I'm able to give teachers, we recorded it. And so we have a full library of videos, showing the teachers how to do these things. We do trainings, live. In this case, because it was such a big rollout, I said, I'll come out myself.
That's awesome.
And here I am, happy to
Good.
be here. And then we follow up a lot with the teachers. So they really don't need, like, if you show them that CBS clip, whoever raises their hand is going to be great. They don't need to be, some ringer. It helps, but it's not necessary. They can paint by numbers. And then you get a teacher like Ms. Etter, who goes above and beyond. And that's where even more magic happens. They get to, go off menu and create all sorts of things.
Super excited about Cade is 4 of our 5 teachers teaching this are female.
Hey,
So that's going to impact our trad.
Absolutely, yeah.
yeah,
Oh, yeah, that's cool.
love it, love
What do
it.
they teach, if you don't mind me asking?
So we have an ag teacher,
Yeah.
Lindsay's an English teacher.
Those would be the ones that I'd want to target.
I believe it's a math teacher, and I'm not sure what the other one is. But it's a wide, we got the spectrum.
Amen.
In Washoe County yesterday, they talked about teacher engagement and retention. And we found that the teachers who raised their hands, it's a way to bring more of themselves to work,
Yeah.
right? So we learned that, Ms. Etter, her father taught shop. And so I think there was a deep connection there. So it's nice to have people that already have some of these technical skills. At the same time, the passion might matter more, as opposed to them feeling like, oh, another thing. The ones who, if you
That's the thing I worry about,
Mm-hmm.
right?
So the ones that raise their hands,
Yep.
they're
Yeah.
volunteering.
No doubt.
Yeah.
Word had spread amongst our middle schools, and there was actually teachers like competing. They kept changing the teachers because they would have kept making different pleas to the admin
No doubt.
at the sites because they had heard about it at Dayton Intermediate, and they wanted to do it at their school.
Right.
Yeah.
So I don't think we haven't started in most of the schools, but it's more of an excitement, and they feel honored that they were selected to do this versus oh, I have to do another thing.
The eye roll on the side, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's great. That's great advice. So let's see. So like I start saying, so we have the learning platform, all the lesson plans, the line of Common Core, next gen science standards, the training for the support. There's like we're going to start a series of weekly emails, tips and tricks, also checking in at least once a semester. The tools and equipment that we supply, because like there's schools that have some teacher came up with a great little program, and that's wonderful, but it's hard to scale. So with this, it's something where you can have a uniform, that there's equity across all your schools because they're getting the same program. And then based on the teacher, they can add whatever flavor they want. If they want to go deep on ag or go deep on social studies or math, what have you, it's a platform. They can make it their own. And then the materials, it's all ready to use. The students are still measuring and marking and sawing and joining. And so, in some cases, it makes sense to, if you have a high school that can help, that's great. But if not, you don't have to worry about it. And so everything's ready to use. by the way, those extra materials are coming next Wednesday.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
I'll let Lindsay know.
And so we kind of have the program's super customizable. We can do anything because it's like column A, choose what kind of, it boils down to how many students at a time, like in a group, then how many hours you want them doing this, like is it a semester meeting once a week, a semester meeting once a day, etc. And then how many total students. And based on that, we can suggest a specific program for you. Also, you've got a question of kind of breadth versus depth, meaning do you want to have as many students getting a light exposure as possible, or do you want to have the same students, all year and they're going deep? So those are the things, but it's super flexible. And so what I'm about to show you are just some for instances, because otherwise it's like too many choices. So for elementary school, we have mini programs. It's a smaller tool chest than what you've been seeing. There's more sharing of tools, and there's fewer hours of projects. So for example, if you're, want to do like an early exposure where there, maybe there's 8 hours or 10 hours of projects, that's super, that's something we can help you with. In the middle schools, and here's like a sample of what a bundle. So we've organized these projects into sequences where they're scaffolding up skills, learning like just the basics of how to follow an instruction, the sanding block, or a porcupine, how to use a hammer. Same with the next couple, because it's such a fundamental skill. And we see the fluency growing really quickly with that. Then with the tower blocks or Jenga blocks, they're learning how to use a combination square, the idea of perpendicular, parallel, and how to use the saw. And even in some cases, difference between cross-cutting and rip-cutting, because the saw has 2 sides, super effective saws. They're on the pull stroke, they're Japanese. They require less effort. Back muscles are stronger, easier to pull a string, almost no kerf. So it's they've been great, and they're really safe. And so on. And then they start getting into projects that have an order of operations. And some of them are creative, like the jigsaw puzzle. And with every project where the kid has an idea of what they can do, that's just, icing on the cake. Then the middle school program, we call it the standard. That's where we started. And that's where it's exactly what you saw. And we have like 100 hours worth of projects. And so what we're even doing now is organizing it so we can have, if you wanted to have like grade 6 is sort of introductory, then grade 7 is sort of intermediate, and then grade 8 is advanced with even like a design thinking project where there's no rules. They know how to use the tools, but they have to solve for a problem. And the idea is that the problem is you're making it for someone else. So you have to interview them and figure out their needs. So again, empathy, communication, critical thinking, and then iterate the solution. And then part of the output is not only the project, but what would I do different next time, right? So it's that real design engineering mindset. And other advanced projects, instead of being make and take, they're make and donate. So it might be a little free library, it might be a bench, might be a chair, that they could give back and feel like I made that, walk by it every day. The make and takes, what's nice is that one example is the step stool. We heard from one school district that, they use that in their house. So here you've got this middle schooler, and now their little brother, little sister can reach the sink and brush their teeth. So they're bringing things home, and they have these lasting reminders of something that worked. So like Lego robotics, amazing, right? It teaches a lot of skills, but you have to like then, hey, that was awesome. All right, take it apart, right? With this, it's like it's with you. And anyone who took shop growing up probably still has what you made, right? It was good stuff. What? Or your mom does. Exactly. That clock, that napkin holder. Exactly. So then the last one is, as I mentioned, we, started working with the Carpenters Union and adapted their program. And it's been just great relationship. I member brother myself, very proud as well. And so this program, it's a 3-year sequence, and the students can earn up to 16 credits going through this very structured program. And so on the one level, you know, they're building projects, they're learning math, they're more intensive projects. They're also learning, like, is this for me? Or maybe something else is for me. Like, you know what? I don't like woodworking, but I love the mechanical part. I'm going to go into automotive or welding or what have you, right? It's, again, super transferable. In addition, they're building relationships with their local union reps. And so the reps are visiting, they're touring these phenomenal training centers, and so they can see what life can be like afterwards. And around here, as Steve mentioned, you know, business is booming. We need more youth. And so now you're gonna get youth, you know, and something Steve said to me yesterday was that it's not just about the kids that are good with their hands, but they're kids you want to work with, right? They know how to ask for help. They know how to show up on time. They know how to be decent to each other. They're curious, they're humble, you know, and that the rest you can train. So we can take them as far as, you know, getting them these, you know, certificates that they can use. They're going to be pretty handy, but they still haven't really learned power tools. And that's what the carpenters can do. And then show them what it looks like to, you know, get respect at work and work super hard and, you know, have a golden ticket to owning a home and a boat and 2 trucks with, you know, high school education. And in some cases, there's even more college credits available. So it's kind of a no lose. There's more, and I can share out, we can share out all these slides. Principals tend to ask, you know, who's going to teach it, right? Like you were asking. And again, it's you know, whoever raises their hand is going to be great. Where can I put it? Pretty much any classroom with stable tables. How long, you know, like, how do I offer it? And that's sort of up to the school or the district, but people are doing it during school, they're doing it after school. You know, we talked about, you know, offering it first period, but we find that these programs, when the word gets out among the students, they get oversubscribed. Like we had one where there was 60 spots throughout the year and they had 300 kids sign up. So it's like the most popular elective. And then the last one is it's safe. And yes, you know, and even with, you know, kids in behavioral programs, because the people, the paras and the special ed teachers they're working with, they're used to this, you know, and so those work really well as well. So we even have like a court mandated high school in Ohio using this just to teach conflict resolution. And it's been good. So, I know, right?
That could be interesting.
Yeah, you thought knuckleheads, but yeah. So, let's see, let me just open it up if there's any questions that people have, and from the online as well. Happy to answer anything.
Candy, the question is, why wouldn't you do it?
Students are clamoring for, really. I have seen an uptick in just the number of students. They're building a huge housing development around Carson High School on Lampa Ranch. And as the houses go up and they see people working, we have more and more students interested in construction trades. It's interesting because they see the progress every single day when they walk by or drive by or on the bus.
That's great. That's great. Yeah, and that the high school program, the Carpentry 3, it's residential construction, and so they build this huge doghouse that they could donate to a shelter.
Wow.
But they're learning, you know, framing, sheathing, flooring, you know, how to frame out windows, doors, everything, using 2x3s instead of 2x4s. But everything's shippable. And these saws are amazing. You can rip a 2x4 with these saws as well.
Yeah.
Stunningly effective. You know, 700 years of development. They got it right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good. All right. So happy to follow up with anyone. I just want to make sure, Candy, you're Carson City. It's so nice to meet you. K-Stack, who's that? Just so we
She's
can.
from Douglas County. She's our new work-based learning coordinator.
Okay.
And then Heather Stodick is our PACE lab.
Okay.
Teacher at Carson Valley Middle School.
Cool.
Okay. Wonderful. Wonderful. Well, thank you all for joining. And,
Something in the chat.
oh, yeah, let's find out. Thank you.
Mike, while you're pulling that up, Pays Lab, we use Pays Lab in
Next step.
every school, every middle and high school in our district. And this, I mean, it marries well with those Pays Labs. So I will be honest with you, our construction tech teacher at Fernley High went into the Pays Labs and said, hey, you should upgrade some of these tools. I recommend this, this, and this, and we helped upgrade some of the tools so that the kids were working with recognized industry tools.
Oh,
So
interesting.
But it's a great marriage. So
That's great. Yeah, and Candy, I know your teacher, trying to remember her name. She was very interested. She's the PACE teacher. Anyway.
Could be Lauren Gates.
Yeah, that sounds right. Yep. Great. Okay. Well, thanks everyone. Appreciate it, and we'll follow up with everyone and
you guys, if anybody wants to come, since you're in Douglas and Carson, you want to come out to Dayton Intermediate and check it out in action one time, feel free to let us know. We'll work something out with the administration there, and it shouldn't be an issue. So anytime you want to come see it live in action, feel free.
wonderful. Thank you. Thank you,
Yeah.
Jim.
Yeah.
Thank you, Lyon County. Thank you, Carpenters. And let's get these kids on a pathway and purpose.